Today, Rachel, the occupational therapist, is at Eloise Patterson's house. She is a home health client who is a post-surgical patient for a total hip replacement who also suffers from vertigo and diabetes.
Hi! How are you?
Hi! Sorry, just snacking on one of these. You want one?
Oh no, I'm good right now. Good to see you again. Good to see you. Hi, Allie. How are you? Good to see you too. How's everything going?
Everything's going.
Going good?
Rachel noticed all of the candy around Mrs. Patterson's house. Eloise Patterson is a 64-year-old widow. Her broken hip is because of a fall she had while walking and tripping over her dog in her home. One thing she explicitly wanted Rachel, her OT, to know is that she loves the Christmas season. She was heartbroken about her hip replacement because she couldn't put up a real Christmas tree this year. Her nice neighbor boy helped her set up her tree. It is a small one, but she did tell the OT that she wanted to participate more this Christmas season. Eloise loves to bake for her 7 grandkids and her neighbors, but her family lives in Minnesota. But she is happy because the cookies do ship well. She's a widow of 10 years, but she loves line dancing with Dave, her best friend, at the local bar. Eloise loves Italian food and cooks for herself quite often. Pasta is sure easy to make and works well for leftovers since she eats all by herself. She's a retired elementary school teacher, and now she's on leave from Lowe's as she is an employee in the garden section part-time. For her leisure activities, she does love to garden, and she used to garden at the community garden in her neighborhood. But now, because of her vertigo and she does get dizzy, she has to work in the raised planters at the YMCA. As of right now, since she's kind of stuck in her home, she does enjoy crocheting.
Okay, so since our last meeting, I kind of wrote up a list of some goals based on the different things you told me you wanted to get back to. So let's kind of go over those, and then if there's anything you want to add to that or change, then we can do that and then kind of get started, okay?
Okay, perfect.
So the first thing that you had been interested in doing was getting back to your gardening, and so you can go back to work, so we can work on that. And then you'd also been interested in getting back to walking your dog.
Yes, absolutely.
Is that,
She's
yeah?
so full of energy, can't you tell?
Yeah. So she definitely needs to get walked. And then you want to get back into participating more with Christmas and then cooking as well.
And don't forget about line dancing with Dave.
And I'll add that in as well. So line dancing is something else you really kind of want to get back
please.
into. Okay, so line dancing. Great. So today we're gonna first start. We're gonna do a quick range of motion screen to kind of see how your joints are doing, and then just kind of to see where you're at today. And then we're gonna head outside and we're gonna take a walk with Allie so we can kind of work on that goal.
Okay.
And then that'll kind of get you stretched out, get you moving, get you ready to go. And then after that, we'll come back inside, go to the kitchen, work on some cooking, balance, and then some other stuff from there. Is that
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Oh, you're welcome. Sounds good. All right, let's get started. All right, raise your arms up above the head like you're grabbing the star on the Christmas tree. Excellent. And then can you bring your arms back around your neck like we do in line dancing? And then can you bring your arms out in front of you and flip those palms?
So Rachel made sure during her range of motion screening to include things that were interesting to Miss Eloise. In this, Rachel determined that Miss Eloise had pretty normal, within normal limits, upper body range of motion.
Okay, so the range of motion's looking good, and so now we're just going to do a couple of quick muscle tests because I know that you've been inside a lot recently during your recovery, crocheting, and
God, look what I'm making. I'm so far along, but it's taken me forever. I have an 8th grandbaby on the way. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. That's great. Well, so good. So that's all good. We do want you to keep crocheting and doing the things that you enjoy too. But we just want to make sure those muscles are strong so that you can help yourself push out of a chair. You can help cook, walk your dog, just kind of muscles we use in everyday function.
Okay.
All right, so can you bring your arm above your head like this and then bring it back down? Okay, so now we're going to do that again, and I'm going to push against you. So can you do that same motion? All right, go ahead. All right, good job, awesome. All right, and next we're going to test right here, your elbow. So can you bring your arm like this and then bring it back down? Great, and so we're going to do the same thing again. So can you let me bring this elbow in right here. All right, bring up. Awesome, great, good job. So now we're gonna head outside to walk little Allie here. So we wanna get you out of the chair. So we know, since my last visit, I know that you don't need your gait belt because you're good with that. So I'll be here just for kind of a contact guard assist if you need that. But we wanna make sure that you're getting up in the best way possible to help your hip, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to scoot forward in the chair as much as you can. All right, and make sure not to rotate those hips too much. All right, good. And then I want you to use those armrests right here, just like you're doing. And I want you to use the armrest to kind of push yourself up. And I don't want you to lean forward because you can't break that 90 degree for your hip. So I want you to use the arms, push up. Great. All right, how do you feel? Good?
Pretty good.
How's your any vertigo issues right now?
No, I'm good right now.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
All right, we're headed outside with little Allie. All right, Miss Patterson, are you ready to take your dog for a walk?
Yes, I'm just not sure how because her collar, I had to have to bend over to put it on.
All right, so since we're not gonna have you bending over like this, what I'm gonna have you do is just put the leash right through her collar like this, and then you form a nice little lasso for her, and you're all set.
All right.
You can lasso over her head. So I'm gonna have you do that.
Let me try.
Can you try? I'll hold her treats for you.
Okay, thank you.
Back through, and then just give her a nice little lasso. All right, we're all set. You ready?
Good girl, Allie.
Good girl. Patterson, so when you're walking, I want to make sure that you're not rotating your hips in or rotating your hips out. We want to walk with your toes pointed forward and your feet just slightly out, not too far out, not too far in, just a little bit out like a normal kind of walking gait.
Okay.
And then also, I'm noticing you're wearing some flip-flops, which you've mentioned that you don't like closed-toed shoes.
They make my feet sweat.
Okay, well, I know we're in Florida, but I might recommend maybe getting a little sandal with a back strap just so it's easier, less likely to trip, especially while you're walking sweet little Allie.
Okay.
All right, so let's go. All right, so let's head on back in and then we'll work on cooking your dinner and working on some of that stuff in there, okay?
Sounds great.
All right, come on in. Come on.
Because Miss Patterson has diabetes, she does need to monitor her diet and make alterations. With type 2 diabetes, Miss Patterson does have to limit her consumption of simple carbohydrates and unhealthy choices like sugary cereals, white pasta, alcohol, and saturated fats. Instead, she should focus on having meals that consist of food like brown rice, quinoa, homemade vegetables, or fresh tomato sauce, fresh vegetables, and lean protein. Treats are okay, but need to be done in moderation. As you can see, Mrs. Patterson's a fan of her new food choices.
All right, so we're gonna get started and make some food and kind of work on some of your balance and vertigo issues along with you're working on diabetes management your diet, okay?
Okay.
All right, so you mentioned that your favorite food was pasta.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what I want to do is I don't want to come in and get rid of all the foods that you like, but I kind of want to work them in a way that could work better with your diabetes.
Okay.
So one thing that's important is to eat 3 meals a day consistently and at consistent times to kind of regulate that.
Only 3?
Only 3. Well, we can have some snacks in there and we can work on some of those
Okay.
things. And one thing I also want to work on as well, do you ever get dizzy when you're standing in the kitchen?
Sometimes I do. It's hit or miss though. I never really know when it's gonna happen.
You never know. Okay. Well, one thing that we can do to kind of work with that is we can keep a chair nearby, so you can bring this chair into the kitchen, and then you can have it right next to you. So if you are feeling dizzy, you could take a seat, or if you're feeling fine, then you can keep going. Another thing you can do is you can sit while you're cooking, which could be good. You can get all your materials, bring them right here, and then have a seat and kind of prepare your meal while seated.
Okay.
Especially with your hip, that might be good, at least in the beginning, especially when it's healing and recovering. And then another thing we can do as well is keep a good hold on the counters and not make too sudden of movements. You don't want to be whipping your head around, turning really quickly. We want to make sure that you're making movements, slow movements, and keeping those hands on the counter.
Okay.
Okay? So let's get started with cooking. All right, so we did some good cooking. So here are some of the things that we kind of worked on cooking. So what we have here, we've got some greens, some beans, tofu with your favorite seasoning, your favorite Italian seasoning, and then some brown rice. That's going to give you some more fiber. It's going to give you good vitamins. And if you like this. After you try it, I'll bring some more recipes for you, and we can keep working on making these types.
And with her food choices, she noticed her terrible medication management strategies.
Okay, so let's take a look at your medications here. I see that you have a really good schedule listed out of everything you need to take. What's going on with the pills here? Do you know what these all are?
Yes, the blue ones I take in the morning, and they're for the hip pain. I don't remember what they are, but they're for the hip pain. And then the red ones I take for diabetes, and then the pink ones.
Which medication is that again? Do you know the name?
I wrote it down. It's metformin.
Okay.
And then the pink ones, oh, whoops. They're for Allie.
Okay, so what I think is really important is you have got this great schedule, but we want to make sure that you know exactly which medications and have them in kind of an organized way so you're able to take them and take the right amount and make sure you don't accidentally get them mixed up, you know?
We wouldn't want Allie to have the little blue pills.
And we wouldn't, because look at her, she's so cute, so we don't want that to happen to her. So one thing I can suggest, have you used the pill box? We can get a pill box. There's online apps, we can organize them in different ways, and so let's kind of look at some of those strategies. Okay, so we're just gonna go over the exercises that I gave you really quick, and then you should be all set, okay?
Okay.
All right, so first, one of the ones I gave you is those chair push-ups. Those are really gonna help you be able to get yourself out of your chair and assist while your hip is kind of still in some pain, okay?
All right.
So what I'm gonna have you do is you're gonna use those arm rests on your chair, and you're gonna push up and lift your butt out of the chair. So push really hard. Great, and you're gonna stay like that, and then hold it for about 5 to 10 seconds, and then bring yourself back down. And then you're gonna repeat that as many times as it says on here, okay?
That'll be an arm workout.
It will be.
Rachel finished the rest of her home exercise plan with Miss Eloise and concluded the visit with a question and answer period.
Okay, so I think that's all. We went over cooking, we went over walking Allie, we went over some things, some stretches, exercises to get you back where you need. Do you have any questions or thoughts, anything else on your mind?
No, but thank you so much for all of your help. Like, you're just incredible. And the other day, I saw an ornament and I got it on my Christmas tree, so I can always think of you.
Oh, Miss Patterson.